everyone, it's Katrina. Number 10. The Armenian Pyramid. One of the most shocking discoveries in recent days has been a pyramid in the Ararat Valley. This pyramid was discovered in Armenia, one of the last places on Earth most people would expect to find such a structure. For the last several years, the National Academy of Sciences of Armenia has allegedly been investigating the unusual pyramid, which was built between 3,000 and 2,000 years ago. Researchers say the structure resembles step pyramids found in Mexico. The structure itself was discovered near the rural village of Getazat, buried underneath a mound of soil. It was completely hidden beneath the dirt, making the pyramid look a lot more like a natural hill than anything made by human hands. The pyramid rises about 82 feet from the ground, and archaeologists found ornamental stones in its ruins. They even discovered a staircase that appears to be winding up to the top. However, for some reason, archaeologists haven't done any major excavations yet, and it's very difficult to find any official information on the Armenian pyramid. It's unclear if the lack of information is because local archaeologists don't have funding, or if there is just not enough interest. Perhaps in the future we can get to the bottom of who built the pyramid or what it might be hiding. Number 9. Aztec God of Alcohol. Archaeologists in Mexico have come across a very interesting mural. The artwork depicts an ancient Aztec god wearing a feathered headdress. It's believed the god is Tepoztecatl, the ancient god of alcohol. The wall drawing was found at a convent in the city of Tepoztlan, which is not the place you would normally expect to find a god of alcohol. However, researchers believe the painting could shed some light on the relationship between the indigenous population and the Catholic Church in the 16th century. The painting itself was hidden underneath several layers of whitewash in the convent of the Nativity. The convent was built sometime between 1555 and 1580 for the Order of Dominicans. It's believed the convent was used for the mass conversion of natives to Christianity. In order to do this, it's possible the Christian priests allowed Aztec gods to be incorporated into religious lessons. In the 16th century, the conquered Aztec would have provided most of the workforce and labor in the region, and so staying on their good side was important. However, their old ways would not have been completely erased. The Aztec most likely still gave praise to Tepoztecatl, the deity of their favorite alcoholic beverage called pulque. The painting may have been put up along with images of the Virgin Mary. This would have been part of a plan to slowly but firmly transition the locals to accept Jesus as their savior. Number 8. Ancient work from home. Archaeologists working in Belize have discovered evidence of ancient Maya salt makers who worked from home long before now. Researchers found salt kitchens from 1,500 years ago attached directly to the houses of the workers. Instead of going to a factory, they did their jobs from the safety of their own homes. For the Maya, working from home was a matter of convenience and effectiveness. By doing this, they would have been significantly more productive and were able to produce salt throughout the whole year. This was extremely important because salt was a major commodity in the Maya kingdom. Maya cities near the coast were able to process salt. Then they would trade that to the cities inland who had no access to natural salt themselves. The discovery was made in Penis Creek National Park at a place called Ta'ab Nuk Na. This was once the largest Maya salt working site in the region. Today, it's a natural reserve spanning over 37,000 acres along the Caribbean Sea. The area is now full of lagoons and swamps, but at one point it had been home to Maya houses. Most of those homes were made of wood, and so they have already deteriorated and are impossible to find. However, researchers did discover a few rare remains of these houses in a submerged area. Salt wasn't the only work the Maya did from home. They also would have been fishing, working with wood, cooking, spinning cotton, and grinding maize. In total, the workers living at Ta'ab Nuk Na would have produced about 1 ton of salt every week, enough for roughly 24,000 people. Number 7. Monkey soldiers. It turns out that the Romans may have used monkeys in their military. Archaeologists in Europe and the UK have discovered the remains of several Barbary apes with formal burials and military offerings. The Barbary ape is not in fact an ape, but a monkey. These feisty macaques are native to northern Africa, found primarily in Algeria and Morocco. They can live to be about 30 years old. In ancient times, the monkeys migrated from Morocco into Spain, making it the only wild monkey species to live in modern Europe. Some of the remains of the monkeys go back to the Iron Age, while the majority are from the Middle Ages. Several of the remains are from the Roman Empire, and archaeologists were surprised to find the remains in excellent condition. Sadly, though, many of the monkeys had died in poor health. They had bad teeth, and there was evidence of a poor diet since they were way outside of their natural habitat. However, one of the most shocking Barbary apes ever found was in Libya, Spain. It lived in the 5th century AD and was buried with a small collection of grave goods. Somebody gave this monkey a human funeral, and in its grave they uncovered pottery fragments, iron objects, and bronze belt buckles. The belt buckles were typical for the late Roman period, usually worn by Roman military officers. What the discovery suggests is that the monkey was once part of the Roman army, or at least a soldier's beloved pet. Researchers don't know for sure if the monkey ever participated in a combat situation, but there's no denying it was buried with all the honors of a military officer. All we can say for certain is that when the monkey died, the soldiers grieved enough that they left their belt buckles in its grave. This was likely to honor the monkey's memory. Number 6. Lagash. Scientists recently discovered a lost Mesopotamian city called Lagash. This city existed about 5,000 years ago in an ancient wetland between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in southern Iraq. Lagash was built atop 4 islands in the vast marshland, with each island connected by waterways. The Mesopotamians would have used canoes or small floating vessels to get around, just like in Venice today. Archaeologists with the University of Pennsylvania helped make the discovery using drones and other technology. Everything from remote sensing data to aerial photographs helped provide the location of the lost city. Researchers believe this place may have been one of the earliest states in Mesopotamia. However, there isn't much left of the old city now, as you can imagine. It was abandoned 3,600 years ago, and the water that once formed the marshlands is totally gone today. The city stood on mounds rising just out of the water, but now the whole region is a dried and barren desert. For that reason, very little of the original structures remain. This site is amazing because there is nothing but a few piles of stone no taller than your knee, with flat ground stretching in all directions. Yet in the 3rd millennium BC, Lagash was a Sumerian city-state and would have looked like a lush jungle paradise. It used to have towering temples and huge buildings occupied by tens of thousands of residents. There would have also been bustling markets where people traded everything from spices to weaponry. The half-floating metropolis was intersected by waterways, with beautifully colored plants hanging from walls and thick vines climbing up stone pillars. And now for number 5, but first, it's shoutout time! I want to say a big thank you to Little Shell 27 and Rolando Ochoa. Thanks so much for watching! If you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos about amazing history and discoveries. Number 5. Lost Canaanite Temple. A mysterious lost temple from 3,000 years ago was recently unearthed in southern Israel. The temple was built by the biblical Canaanite civilization around the time of the Israelite invasion. One of the most spectacular features of the temple is an idol of the legendary Canaanite god Baal, a deity that eventually shifted and became the Christian devil. This is a huge discovery because it's truly one of a kind, and nothing like it has been found in over half a century. Yosef Garfinkel from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem was the leader behind the excavation. They were searching for evidence of an Iron Age occupation when they came across the temple ruins in the lost city of Lachish, which is about 25 miles from Jerusalem. The researchers found the ruins of the temple on the 2nd day of the project, which was a huge accomplishment. Going back to the Canaanite god Baal, a silver-plated bronze figurine of him was discovered inside the innermost sanctuary of the temple. He was found in a position smiting his enemies with one arm held over his head. This incredibly terrifying statue would have been at the center of the temple, and locals likely came from all over the city to give praise and offerings to the figurine. It was around the 13th century BC when Lachish fell to the Israelites. According to archaeological evidence and the Book of Joshua, the Israelites invaded and killed most of the people inside, and this temple could have been destroyed during the chaos. Number 4. Sanctuary of Poseidon. Archaeologists have discovered a very impressive sanctuary at the top of a Greek hill. A team of researchers from Greece and Austria were investigating the lost city of Samikon in the southwest region of the country when they made the discovery. Excavations on the hilltop revealed the ruins of an enormous building. It's about 30 feet wide and 90 feet long, with walls that are 2 feet thick. Researchers identified a vestibule, a rear chamber, and a central sanctuary within the walls of the building. The sanctuary was likely used for worship of the temple's deity. Archaeologists say that the deity was almost definitely Poseidon, lord of the seven seas and brother of Zeus and Hades. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but archaeologists are fairly certain they have discovered the mythical Sanctuary of Poseidon. It was constructed in the 6th century BC, specifically built to venerate Poseidon from Greek mythology. However, it's not entirely clear what happened to the sanctuary or when it was destroyed. It had likely been a place of pilgrimage, perhaps even one of the most sacred sites in Greece for centuries. Sadly, now, it's only a ruin. Number 3. A lost landscape. Archaeologists from a university in Poland just discovered an ancient lost landscape. The team used LiDAR technology to unveil hundreds of ancient monuments strewn throughout a forest. This is a remote and thinly populated region along the border between Belarus and Poland. Researchers used lasers to complete a 3D digital map of the forest. By removing the woodland, they were able to look at the archaeological features hidden beneath. Amazingly, they found sites from prehistory all the way up until World War II. In an unprecedented reveal, archaeologists say they found 577 ancient burial pits, 246 charcoal sites, 19 farmland complexes, 51 dugouts, and 17 forgotten war cemeteries. Most of the archaeological remains come from the Roman era, between the 2nd and 5th century AD. A few of these sites have been excavated already, but many are entirely new. Polish scientists say the area has been a favorite place for small settlements to grow and prosper for thousands of years. The landscape is at the ideal elevation, and there is access to rivers and streams, and so small communities often spring up in the woods. However, these days there's almost nobody out there. The big cities drew everyone away, and the forest hasn't seen much activity since the Middle Ages, aside from the fighting in World War II. Number 2. Mysterious ancient structure. Archaeologists have discovered a structure in the Czech Republic that dates back 7,000 years. That's older than Stonehenge. It's a circular structure approximately 180 feet in diameter called a roundel. It was constructed during the Neolithic period between 4900 and 4600 BC. This formation and others like it are the oldest massive structures built by human hands in Europe. This particular roundel was uncovered just outside of Prague, and it's one of over 200 that have been identified across the European continent. And yet, researchers are still trying to understand what the purpose of these circular structures were. They were erected by people in the Stone Age, but nobody can explain why. One of the most prominent theories is that the roundel was a trade center. It may have been an ancient place where humans from all over the region gathered to barter and exchange goods. On the flip side, it could have been something a lot darker. Some researchers believe these sites may have been used by early religious cults. Blood could have been spilled on the ground here, perhaps during a rite of passage or a mysterious ritual. Whatever the case may be, these structures are still impressive, considering humans back then only possessed tools made from stone and bone. Number 1. Royal Hall of East Anglia. Traces of a legendary royal hall from the days of East Anglia have been recently discovered in England. BBC News reported that the royal hall is estimated to be around 1400 years old. Its remnants were found within a medieval settlement located in Suffolk County. The official name of the structure is the Hall of the First Kings of East Anglia. According to archaeologist Christopher Skull, The Hall is the most extensive, wealthy settlement of its time ever discovered in the country. It wasn't unearthed in a big archaeological dig, but was revealed during a small community project organized by the county's council. Historians were already aware of the building because it was recorded in the 8th century by a man known only as the Venerable Bede. He described it as the place where Ethelwold, king of East Anglia, attended the baptism of King Swithelm of the East Saxons. From between 570 and 720 AD, the Royal Hall was the central government building in the East Anglian Kingdom. Like the White House, this place was the seat of the East Anglian government. Aside from the building itself, researchers have made all kinds of fantastic discoveries. They uncovered a perimeter ditch that had once enclosed the compound where the royals lived. They also found jewelry, drinking vessels, scraps of pottery, and fragments from an earlier settlement during the Roman occupation. Archaeologists discovered evidence of massive feasts that took place here as well. The royal men and women who lived here ate huge quantities of meat, primarily beef and pork. Thanks for watching! What new discovery surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you next time. Bye!